You're listening to the Texas Strangers. Here are your hosts, David Carson and Ryan Gano.
Welcome back to the Texas Strangers, and we're going to talk a little baseball, but not strikes and balls today. We're going to talk about dollars and cents.
Wow, that's kind of big for us, huh?
It's a little heavy. We're not exactly mathematicians. I think to get a journalism degree, we needed one stats-based math class.
That's right.
And that was just to help us keep track of scores.
Yeah, that's what I used it for. So the Texas Rangers announced on Thursday that they're going to get a new stadium.
Whether the people of Arlington want it or not.
Exactly. But I'm excited about it because I think on episode 1, I said one reason why I like the Houston Astros is because of their stadium, because it has a roof in it.
And they play in a dome.
It's not a dome. It's a retractable stadium. It's a retractable roof.
So it's a good weather, bad weather stadium.
I mean, let's air condition the outside. That's basically what we're saying.
Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit.
Okay.
What is this going to cost?
Was it, oh, gosh.
I think it was around $1 billion, literally a round, not a round, a round.
Right.
$1 billion. And it was going to be split between taxpayers and the Texas Rangers.
And that's how most of these things are done.
Unless it's up to the ownership at all and they can eke more tax dollars out.
Right.
So you say you're for the stadium renovation.
Yes, I am.
Are you for the city and the tax dollars paying for it?
I am, only because I don't live in that city.
I think that's the easiest way to be like, oh, yeah, that's fine. It's not my tax dollars.
Now, if I lived in Arlington, okay, this is the downfall of what happens when you have these stadiums come up. You're really putting a stranglehold on your citizens that live, your taxpayers that live there.
So my sister and brother-in-law, they just moved into their house this last week. In Arlington. They just bought a home in Arlington now.
Right.
So this would be something that directly affects them.
Right.
And
you're really talking pennies on the dollar when it comes at the very end. But what happens is your roads don't get fixed as fast. And if you have drainage issues, they're not going to get to those because guess what? You have a brand new stadium over there.
Yeah, the tax allocations, they don't necessarily go then to places like potholes or public utilities or improvement in other areas because there's such a large chunk of public money going towards these things. It usually raises the local tax rates at restaurants, gas stations, any sort of that. There's normally a city tax applied to some degree.
You know who gets hit hardest is the smokers that buy cigarettes and the people that buy beer and alcohol. Those are the ones where that tax, it hits them a little harder than anybody else.
And I don't know if that's fair or not fair. I mean, it's hard to make a financial decision based on a moral judgment on someone's like right or wrong in your opinion of their vice. You know,
right.
Everybody has one. Should they be then taxed further for everyone else's vice, which the vice of America really is sports and sports entertainment.
Right.
You know, so why are they being held accountable? And here's my problem. It's not so much that they want the public to chip in the tax dollars or any of that. It's that they are holding these cities hostage because this is what they're saying to Arlington. Right. Oh, Dallas.
Every city that has a team is held hostage to that team to some aspect.
Dallas is giving us a call. They'd love for us to build this stadium in Dallas and truly be the Texas Rangers, you know, in the heart of Dallas. Or you guys can pay for it. You know, if you guys will help us pay for this, we won't go to Dallas. We'll stay in Arlington.
Yeah.
And we'll guarantee that we'll actually play out the rest of the contract, which in Globe Life actually expires before the new stadium would be built.
Right.
I think there's 3 or 4 years, so we'll guarantee those 3 or 4 years, and then of course we'll move into our new stadium and guarantee you that for forever, for however long.
Right.
But what's really hurting people, the taxpayers, the general base, is in instances like St. Louis, where the Rams just, oh, it's exciting, we're moving to LA, it's awesome. Well, there's a stadium now where the Rams used to play that's sitting empty that was partially funded by public dollars.
That has nothing to do now. There's nothing to do in that stadium.
Other than, the occasional concert or events or venues, but
high school state playoffs maybe.
High school state playoffs, but the revenue that it was supposedly supposed to bring to St. Louis and recoup all these tax dollars and rejuvenate businesses because the Rams were there, it's now gone.
And my friend who lives in Missouri, Jason.
Missouri?
Yeah, I call it misery. But anyway, high school sports, it's not a big thing there.
You mean they don't spend $60 million on a high school football stadium?
No. Matter of fact, usually he talked about his son who played high school football. The game was usually over by 6:30, 7 o'clock at night.
Oh, man, that's the kickoff time.
That's kickoff.
I mean, I played Texas high school football. Probably did too.
Very much.
And that's where everyone was on Friday, Saturday, and if it was playoff Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, but Friday,
Friday night
lights.
Right.
That's what Texas got its name from. Okay, and it's a big deal. But now you have the stadium here that nothing's going to take part of. But what are they going to do with the old Ranger Stadium? Oh, they're just going to demolish it.
So basically, what they're doing, from what I was reading,
they're going to kill Paradise and put up a parking lot.
There's a parking lot big enough where they want to build it near.
It's across the street.
It's across the street at the ballpark at Arlington. So they want to fill that with the stadium, and then what are they going to do? Demolish the other stadium and turn that into the parking lot? I mean, they're literally just flipping the two.
Right now, remember a couple months ago, maybe it was a little more than a couple months ago. They were talking about building this Texas Live, where it's going to fill into the stadium, the hotel.
Okay.
It's going to be closer now where they're going to move the stadium.
It just seems unnecessary. I don't see any reason. How many games do you think get canceled or delayed in Texas annually?
Okay, it's not so much the delay or canceled. It's the heat. It's the 100, 102, 103, 104 degree that you're playing in. Now, those guys are probably used to it. But seeing me, I'm not going to go out there and sweat my butt off. I'm just not going to do it.
I see where you're coming from, but just like we mentioned high school sports, those kids are practicing in this heat. Everyone who's grown up in this area has dealt with Texas heat, and we haven't had a summer like the one we had a few years ago where it was, I think we had 93 days of consecutive 100-degree heat. It was record-breaking, literally record-breaking. It was an incredibly hot time and miserable for everyone.
And we're still close to those numbers. We're still close to them not 90 days plus, but we can have a month or 2 months of just 100
It's
heat.
hot as Hades here. That's a fact. But there's a perfectly good, perfectly usable stadium that fills regular enough, depending on how the Rangers are doing.
Right.
And to say, hey, we actually need $500 million from you, the people of Arlington.
Now, in the article,
put a roof on our stadium.
Right. In the article from the Dallas Morning News, who wrote that? Evan Grant. He said, it wasn't he said, but he reported that they were also could use this stadium for concerts.
You mean like Jerry World across the way?
Okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to play it? I don't know if they're going to call it. We'll say it's Globe Life Part 2, okay? We'll name it that now.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll actually sell it to a higher bidder.
Exactly. But okay.
I'm still upset that it's not the ballpark at Arlington anymore.
So if you're Taylor Swift, do you want to play at Jerry's World or do you want to play at Globe Life Park number 2? Well, there's more seats over at Jerry's World, or do I want to play?
And baseball, yeah, it's just not set up the same way either, I don't think. I've been to some of the summer concert series they do at the Rangers.
Right.
Usually Randy Rogers or some country band will come and play there. And what they do is they just let everybody on the field. They just let everybody on the grass because the seats themselves, the way they have to position the stage in a baseball diamond, isn't very effective.
No.
So they just let people, So what is more seats and a retractable roof? This is only good for the Rangers and the business of baseball. This isn't really good, in my opinion. This isn't good for the people in the surrounding area. It doesn't add anything that's not already there.
Right.
It may save you, may push people who are already going to a lot of Rangers games to go to one or two more that they decided to skip out. I mean, maybe season ticket holders benefit from this, but the average person who goes to how many Rangers games did you go to last year?
1.
Okay, how many Rangers games did you go to this year so far?
1.
How many do you think you'll go to before the end of the year?
None. And here's the sad thing: is I get free tickets.
So,
because I work for the Rangers and I get free tickets. And you know what I do with those free tickets? I give them away.
Okay, which is a nice thing to do, but you usually plan to go to one game a year, maybe a couple more. If it's a playoff game and you maybe got tickets to that'd give you incentive to go. But for the most part, people are going to go to the 1 or 2 games for whatever occasion they deem necessary, a date night out or whatever. Who is the 5 days of 105 unstandable? That's not really the right phrase, but
right.
The unbearable heat.
Right.
Who is that going to stop other than a season ticket holder who maybe loses a couple more games a year?
Now, I'm thinking about, and you're going to laugh at me, so next time you call me a University of North Texas person,
okay,
I have this ammo right here to slap you in the face, okay?
Okay, I'm ready.
May 29th is UNT Day. I think it's May 29th. It's close to that date.
They give you a hat.
If you buy it, you get a North
if
Texas
you're there
hat.
early enough.
First 3,000 people. And I think I could beat the first 3,000 UNT. And you have to have that special ticket to get the hat.
Gotcha.
Just a kid walking through the gate is not going to get a University of North Texas. You have to buy it. So I'm actually thinking about going to that game. I don't even know who they're playing. The Pirates.
My dad's a huge Pirates fan.
So I was getting ready to say I don't know who they're playing, but guess what? I did remember who they were playing.
In theory, right now, still you're going. But again, my broader point is that most people go to a baseball game. I would say on average go once or twice, 3 times a year.
Yeah.
You know, that's the average person in the DFW. They probably go twice a year. That's probably a good average, if they're going to go at all. Now,
I mean, they get 40 to 50,000 people in there almost every night.
Right, so it's busy. A ballpark, DFW is a huge place, and it's a good product. The last few years, the Rangers have been a solid cast.
Yeah, and we're getting people from Oklahoma, Arkansas. Some people from New Mexico come here. So,
right, and
better demographic.
Most of the times I know. So I went once this year already. I went with my girlfriend's sorority. They had a date night there. So we all went for that.
You get on Kiss Cam?
No, but we were for the Mavericks when we watched them play the Clippers. So
okay.
We have actually made the Kiss Cam. My girlfriend was ecstatic about it.
See,
I didn't know anyone would ever be that excited about kissing me in public.
Yeah, this face right here never makes it to the Kiss Cam, so it's all right. So other retractable roof stadiums. Do you know how many retractable roof stadiums we have in Major League Baseball?
In baseball, I'm going to say around 4 or 5. I'm
okay.
Say 5.
Well, Evan Grant,
okay,
Dallas Morning News, he went ahead and ranked them. Number 1, Safeco Field. Now, I lived in Seattle for a little while.
Okay.
And it's a very nice stadium. People always talk about, hey, it rains there a lot. The rain is not like the rain that we get here in Texas, where it just downpours.
Right.
It's a drizzle.
But constant.
It's more in the wintertime, later in like October, November, December. That's when you get your drizzle.
Okay.
Summertime
is
actually
cold.
Not really.
Really?
Not really. Once you get over the mountains, that's when it gets cold. Seattle doesn't see that much snow.
Okay.
So, but once you get over the mountains, that's where you get into the inclement weather. Number 2, because you know what? You can't put Houston number 1. Minute Maid Park, and you know what? You really can't put them number 1 because it was Minute Maid Park, originally Enron. So if the company that originally sponsored it, you turn around and just said, hey, we're not good for anybody in this world. Yeah, so Minute Maid Park,
okay.
Number 2. Number 3, Chase Field. Do you know where Chase Field is?
Oh, man.
You know,
give me a hint.
It's in Phoenix.
That's not a hint, Dave. That's the answer. We'll work on that.
Okay, well, I realized the other day when I was going through all these stadium names that I didn't know their stadium names because I'm so used to like their original names.
Right, and that's one of the unfortunate things about marketing in baseball is that you used to know Yankee Stadium, the ballpark at Arlington.
Right.
There used to be these unique names based on the team and the destination, and now it's just, I'll pay for that for 10 years.
Okay, number 4, Miller Park. Miller should give it away where it's at. Milwaukee, there it is. And number 5. Oh, it's not last on the list. I'm surprised. Evan, really? You didn't put this one last? This one should have been last. Rogers Center in Toronto.
Okay. Is Toronto? Couldn't you easily? Is that not a baseball town? Right?
I guess so.
Something.
But I
I know